Hi, I'm Melody. Welcome to my channel Making Melody Crafts, and welcome back to our alphabet series. In this video we're going to be doing decoupage, so hit that subscribe button and let's get started. Alright, we are down on the craft table now, and this is what we're going to be decoupaging today. So this is just an old wooden tray. So decoupage, the literal definition is just to decorate an object by gluing, various pieces of paper on it and things like that. Paper from old magazines, paper you've cut out. For this project today, I will actually be using some old wallpaper, and I'll show you the stuff that I'm going to be using in a little bit. But we're going to grab some gesso, which is just like an acrylic primer, and we're going to get this kind of just, painted there with a good layer of gesso. Let's see, the grain seems to be going that way, so I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to paint the whole thing. This is so exciting. I've been so looking forward to doing this. Alright, so we've got the bottom all done there. Alright, so now I'm going to get the whole thing done. And this is just a chip brush. I get 36 of these for $10 at Harbor Freight. Alright, while I'm finishing up painting this, I'll go ahead and tell you the things that you need to do a project like this. I'm just going to hold on to this here. So a container for water is a good idea. I've just got an old container here. You need a brayer, but you don't need a brayer. I don't like to use my brayer. You can also just use something like this to get out bubbles when you're decoupaging. That's just an old card. You could use an old credit card, whatever you have. This is plastic, so I recommend something plastic. But yeah, if you want to use a brayer, go right ahead. I have one brayer, and I just don't want to get it all messy with Mod Podge, which is a type of glue that we'll be using in a little bit here. Well, it'll be a little bit to you. It won't be a little bit to me. Yeah, let's see what else. And then some wax paper for your surface. I'll probably put a new piece of wax paper down when I start the actual decoupaging. Obviously, this needs to dry. And it's looking pretty cute so far. Some paper towels, right now, how things are just hard to find. We are low on paper towels. In fact, my husband just ran out now to get a couple groceries and hopefully find some paper towels. But you know what? You go through those so fast, right? That's what we've really noticed. So you could just use maybe just an old t-shirt cut up, to wipe up any messes, or like obviously Mod Podge, a brush, paper towels, the wax paper, some scissors, and a squeegee. I use this as my squeegee again, so that's what I like. And today we're actually going to be using the item that we're going to be decoupaging onto this tray is going to be wallpaper book paper. Wallpaper paper. Yeah, that's the thing. So if you wanted to try that, you can actually get free wallpaper books by going to your local, wallpaper place, paint place. Sometimes they're one and the same. I live in the States, and we have Sherwin-Williams here. Wallpaper books get discontinued, and they'll just, throw them out. Why have it go to a landfill? Why not have it, be used in something else? If you had old newspapers, you could also put that under a surface, but once we've got the Mod Podge going, it's nice to have the wax paper so that it doesn't stick to that. So now I'm going to finish this up, and it needs to dry. Alright, so now we're going to do the bottom. That is fairly dry. It's just kind of, dry to the touch there, but I'd like to wait a little bit longer before I put another coat on that. But I went ahead and got out of my thumb sweater and threw it in the wash because I saw I had paint on it. Yeah, not a good thing. So yes, now I'm just in an old shirt, so that I don't mind if that gets some paint on it. I even got a little paint on my phone. I don't know, can anybody paint and not get messy? That's not really my thing. Not really my thing. So we're gonna get that all covered there. Alright, so now we've got the bottom all painted, and now that obviously needs to dry as well, and then I think I'm going to put another coat on. I don't really like how the inside turned out. I definitely want another coat on there, even though I am going to decoupage right over it, but I just prefer it look a little bit more like the bottom. Sorry about all of the shadows here, but yeah. So I'm going to leave that upside down so that can dry, and then we'll do another coat. All right, so I've got about 2 or 3 layers, or 300 layers of gesso on here. No, really, it's just 2 or 3. The bottoms seem to take the color a little bit better. I don't know, it just came out better. And the inside, I just needed to do those 3 layers. But now the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna get a stencil in here. I've got my rings off now because I'll probably get messy. It'll probably happen. And then this paint is from Vicki Boutin, and this is Toasted Marshmallow. And I have let this dry overnight, but the gesso dries fairly quickly. It is like an acrylic paint, but with some chalk or gypsum added. All right, that's pretty heavy there with the, let me get some of that off. And I'm just using a little yogurt container here, old yogurt container. And here we go. Oh boy. Oh, I hope that stays down for me like I want. We'll see. Maybe I should have taped off the edges, but where's the fun in that? That's what we've got so far. I hope that's looking pretty good there. You can see in the camera because that's a lot of pattern. But yeah, there's some areas here that I'm not totally thrilled with, but I'll continue to work on that, and then we'll get our focal point down. I did fold back my thumb sweater because I didn't want to get it, you know, all painty. Maybe I shouldn't have worn it, but whatever. So don't mind my red hands. I have eczema, but they're actually better than they usually are, so that's a good thing, right? All right, yeah, I like that. Here's a little hint though too when you're stenciling. If you haven't done stenciling before, don't go over a stencil back and forth. You want to pounce on a stencil. So that's how much paint I put in here. It's not really that much, but you know, you get a little bit and then tap it off on another area, and don't slide back and forth, or you know, it's going to go underneath your stencil. You can tape it down if you want. I did for part of this, and then I couldn't because, you know, obviously there was already paint. Yeah, and then you just want an up and down motion in one area and then move on, but you want that brush to be mostly dry when you're stenciling. All right, now I think we're going to go ahead. I'm going to let that be. We'll do some other stuff to the inside in a little bit. So I'm going to use this little stencil here, and it's like a little curlicue thumb sweater moment. Makes it so easy to see everything, doesn't it? Usually, mostly. All right, and I'm going to tape that down. When you're deciding where to put your stencil, take your time because, you know, once it's done pretty much. So we're going to use the same color there, this Vicki Boutin Toasted Marshmallow. So I'm doing the same motion, just kind of up and down. You can also hold it in place so that it doesn't move too much on you. This is moving on me, but if I get a little bit under there, I'm not worried about that because I'm not really going for that look of, you know, like precision. I kind of want more of a, you know, shabby chic thing or something like that. All right, that's what we've got on that side. After using this stencil, I had to reposition it a couple of times, but I like how it came out. And then this stencil that we used on the inside, you do want to rinse those right away as soon as you can, or maybe have a bucket of water near you. I had a little water near me, but not a lot, so I just took it to the sink after a few minutes and it all came off. Looks pretty great. It was not a problem whatsoever, and it was pretty sturdy. It's a plastic stencil. All right, so while this outside stencil dries here, and that again was the Vicki Boutin paint, the Toasted Marshmallow, I'm going to work on some of the inside. Put that on and then wipe it off a little bit. See if I like how that looks. Yeah, that's cool. All right, and I'm going to do the other side a little bit. All right, this is what we've got right now. So I've got 3 of the sides done with the stenciling there. I like that. And then I'll do this side last. For now, I'm resting it on that side. So I stenciled, or I should say pounced, some of the yellow on the inside, but I don't really like how that came out. All right, so how I got, you know, more of that off of there to kind of have the look I want instead of quite so heavy with that yellow paint. That's how this side looks. So I'm gonna go, this is totally dry here now. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I did. So this is just a paper towel. I dampened them, made them, you know, pretty wet actually, and then just some Dove bar soap, which is what I like. And now I'm just gonna do some circles in here and see how it's already lifting it up. The gesso doesn't come up, but this paint is this acrylic paint by Vicki Bruton. That is coming up. The gesso has had, oh my gosh, I think I painted, yeah, I think that was yesterday, earlier in the day. So that's had quite a while to dry there. So, and then as I get it up, then I'll use another one that isn't so, you know, so soaked with paint to kind of soak that back up, and it is working fabulously. So I'm going to finish doing that, and then we'll stencil on here. Alright, so now I'm going to stencil this design on this side. We've got the other ones done with that, and then the bottom is very dry, so I can easily put that there. That's been, oh gosh, I think I did that probably about an hour ago. So now I just put the paint there, the Vicki Bruton paint, directly on to my wax paper instead of putting it in another container and then dabbing it there. We'll probably put it on the screen, but just in case we don't, these stencils that I'm using are from Recollections. So that's from Michaels. So really, really nice stencils, and I like that they're a small pattern. I'll link a video here. Check it out and see what you think of the stencils that I used in another video on my ATCs in our alphabet series, and also the stencils that I did on a card, on another card. Alright, so I think that's pretty good. Let's see what we've got. Yay! I like that. So right here I got a little bit of paint when I was doing that stencil, and I'm just kind of gently, and I'm kind of pushing my nail into the area too, and then it comes right off. I don't mind if some of that color is there, I just didn't want a blob in that area on this, you know, on this side here. Alright, so this is what we've got so far. Let me not put my hands in wet paint. We'll see how that goes. So, yep, there's the side, all those little curly cues, swirly doodads. Kind of looks like that other stencil that I've used before, and I call it a swirly doodad in another card. I think it was on a feminine card I did, Mother's Day card or something like that. I have a stencil similar to that, it's just larger. Yeah, so pretty neat. And this is how the inside looks now. I got a lot of that paint off of there, like I said, just with the paper towels soaked with some Dove soap. So this is the only part I have left to do now, is right down there. See how that is just really dark, and I kind of just didn't want it to look like that there. So, right, so I'm just going to go ahead and get that one off now. Alright, so now that is all dry. I really like the way it turned out. There's the stencil on the edge. And again, that's from Recollections, which is available at Michaels. And then here is the inside. That's also a Recollections stencil. Hopefully you can see that. I'm not sure my camera appreciates that pattern, but I do really like it. It's really a neat stencil. And then you can see the edges here where before it was just way too much, in my opinion, way too much of that other color on there. I just kind of didn't like how that had turned out. So I just wanted to, you know, kind of take some of that off. So that's how that turned out there. And I chose not to do anything extra on the sides, and the bottom I just kept plain because it's just going to be sitting down. So now we're ready to apply our Mod Podge and actually get to the decoupage. So Mod Podge comes in different finishes, matte and gloss. I have matte here, and the brush that I'm using is only for this. It's a sealer and it's a glue. You can finish puzzles with this. So we're gonna just get that down. I'm gonna put a whole layer down, and then I'll get the focal point down on there. And the focal point that I'm using is actually from a wallpaper book. So I like doing that, using things that are little to no cost. Makes things, you know, just kind of more fun when you think, wow, I saved all that money and look what I can make with it. Kind of cool. I think decoupage is pretty neat. There's so many things you can do with it. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this whole thing with this, and you can see it now. It looks a little milky, but that will dry clear. All right, that layer of Mod Podge is down on there, and it's actually a a pretty good layer there. You can see that's all shiny. And now the focal point. So I just cut out this pattern out of a whole page from a wallpaper book. Just going to kind of get it centered here where the handle is and lay it down. We should be good. There we go. And now, normally I would just grab my brayer and roll something down, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to add another layer of Mod Podge on it. So we're going to start from the center and brush out with Mod Podge, just so that we don't get any wrinkles. This is, not thin, like if you've ever done decoupage with a napkin, those are very thin. This is not, it's pretty sturdy, so it shouldn't be too bad. But still, just so we don't get any air bubbles, from the center and out. There we go, so that's going down on there nicely. All right. And then it just needs to dry, and it'll dry clear. Now I noticed here this is giving me a little trouble. I'm going to peel that up again and get some more decoupage on there. There we go. Hopefully that will stay down. All right. So there you have it, and then we'll just let that dry. All right, so that entire thing is now done. It is all decoupage. Wow, now I can't say decoupage. Decoupaged. And that is the Mod Podge that I used. I can now tip it on the side because I've got the cap on. So you can see it's all shiny, so you could put something wet on there, whether you had, teacups or whatever, and that would protect it from water. I went ahead and also did Mod Podge on all of the sides here just to kind of seal that. I did not do the bottom, but I might in the future. And this is what can you see that? This is what the sides look like there with all of the stenciling. So yeah, now of course you could just do a layer of gesso and to kind of prepare the surface, and you could put this right on top of just gesso. You don't have to stencil anything, but I just wanted to do something extra with it. So like mentioned before, this was a wallpaper sample, and the book that this came from, I'm going to try to get this in the frame because wallpaper books are huge, is called Gentleman's Quarters and Chesapeake. It's a discontinued book, but there's so many cool designs in discontinued wallpaper books that you can get at your local paint stores, wallpaper shops, and what have you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you had a good time, if you learned something, please subscribe. I'd appreciate it so much. I'm trying to grow my subscribers, and I'll catch you later.